Hey, Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Makakadash, Barakatam, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles, great restore, rule well, to Akim Akbar, try to fall to the earth, holding on in sincerity and in truth to the gospel of Lord Amashak, Yahushai, this Bram Nasha, this came, short lesson for the hopeful elect. Yes, so the agreement they made years ago, 2019, for Iran to have to use their nuclear reactors for energy uh, purposes, man. It didn't really go well. Later down the line, the sanctions were not meant to be removed. Because prophecy has to be fulfilled. All right. So when the United States, you know, rips apart the uh, the agreement that they negotiated on, it shows you that that the words of of the serpent, cannot be trusted. So when you see, the records, it says the European Union on Iran nuclear program. All right, EU seeking ways for U.S. and Iran to return to JCPOA. What we call the Joint Course Plan of Action. So it just shows you that there's nothing, there's nothing that can be done, to prevent the word of Lord from coming to pass, man. They can make all the agreements they want and assurances. It doesn't change anything because the rulership of Esau was not meant for peace, was meant from, to rule by the sword, to rule with the maximization of chaos, complete domination. That's the modus operandi of Edom. Okay. Now look at this one. It says without the JCPOA agreement, Iran would have become a nuclear power. So what's going on now? Okay, so it's gonna be a situation that we're gonna have to read into. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get a quick precept. Isaiah chapter 9 and 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So it's going to be chaotic, man. It's going to be chaotic, for the people of the world when these nuclear missiles, begin to make their mark. Scripture tells you that the world shall rule to and fro like a drunkard. You've already seen the initial stages of these missile strikes, man, back and forth. The ping pong, man. The nations in the Gulf are just seeing assets just being torn apart. All these refineries and all this infrastructure being torn apart. It brings a lot of pain, to the lives of the people at the bottom. People protesting because they can't get no fuel, for their so-called daily activities. All right. So the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 26, mentions that all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. it shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. All right. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Yeah, so the end of Babylon is drawing near. You're gonna have the pressure from above and the pressure from below, man. You know, the Lord is gonna make a move on Babylon, and He's gonna also have the nations of the world do their part also. Okay, so it's just things we're looking forward to seeing in these last days. All right. So let's see another one. Iranian nuclear deal. We regret United States withdrawal. Security Council briefing. Okay. So it just shows you, man, whatever they had years ago, it's falling apart. EU, Russia, China meets Iran to discuss implementation of nuclear deal. All right. So it's not it's not holding up anymore, man. All right. JCPOA negotiations. Is the EU strategy a good one? Okay. So if Russia's going to help Iran build their so-called nuclear reactors, what's going on? What's going on now? That's not a good idea. You know, for them to have access to nuclear energy. So now you begin to realize, man, why Esau wants total domination. France has access, you know, but they don't want Iran to have access. That's a situation that they're always going to keep on playing in the minds of the people. So all that unique uranium of of West Africa, man. France wants it under their control, but those countries in West Africa, are tired of all the double speak. They're tired of all the backstabbing. So now they're pushing to have the French and United States, just a Western influence out of their region, man. They're getting stressed out because of all this misappropriation of resources, under reporting of proceeds, embezzlement, and all that stuff. So it's one of the situations we have to acknowledge, man. Because there will be no need for us to be asking Edomites for this, for what we call reparations, when we know we have all the wealth, to sustain our livelihoods, man. But Esau's always going to keep on meddling. That's another topic we can get into. All right, EU deeply concerned with Iranian violation of nuclear agreements. This is 6 years ago. Uncertain future, the JCPOA and Iran's nuclear and missile programs. It's another one. European Union on Iran and the nuclear issue. Okay. Yeah. Let's see another one. U.S. has different idea for JCPOA. EU supports Iran nuclear deal. So there's a divide, man. There's a divide, and the chaos, that's coming out of this, is going to engulf the whole world. All right, it's going to engulf the whole world. So yeah, it's going to make the people lose trust in Babylon, man. Lose trust in the system. So Psalms chapter 55 and 21, the words of his mouth were smooth and butter, but woe was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Yeah, so it's just chaos, man. That we're gonna see. Amalek has proven that there is no peace. There is no peace to be negotiated, man. So they're gonna have to get it on the battlefield and see what they can do. All right. Yeah. So it's gonna be a mess. Isaiah 48 and 22. There is no peace, said the Lord, unto the wicked. Yeah, that's just how it is, man. Yeah, that's just how it is. It's confusion. It's chaos. That's the system of Babylon, Isaiah 59 and 8. The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. All right, so when our people don't want to hold on to the counsel of the Lord, they become bug outs. Like these nations, that reasonings become the reasonings of the nations, and we see exactly why the nations cannot flow together, because their mindset is not geared towards righteousness. Chaos, 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 chaos. All right. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace, and that's why the world is in a state it is. All right. So it's gonna be a mess upon the whole world, and yeah, it's gonna be the end of Esau's rulership, man. So the Most High is gonna make an example out of Esau, because the Lord uses us as an example, not to violate His laws, statutes, and commandments. So now the nations will have to face that same judgment, that same wrath. That only the word of the Lord, the counsel of the Lord, you know, has to be revered, man. It can't build on any other foundation. Okay, so it's gonna be great, to see the Lord tear apart the counsel of the world, the counsel of the wicked, the counsel of the carnal-minded nations. It has to be phased out, man. It's no longer beneficial. The Lord has had enough. The Lord has given them enough time to to do whatever they have to do. So it's time for them to have their conclusion. So that's the point of this lesson. The conclusion of Esau's debate. Their squabbles and arguments, man. It's, uh, it's time for them to wrap it up, and the Lord is going to help them, finalize the conclusion. Shalom.